Hi, I'm Bob Kurtz, Golf's Ironman. Welcome to another episode of our program of anecdotes, stories, and some really good lessons that should help your game immensely. Have you ever seen a world record certificate? Got one right here. This is from Guinness. This is a Guinness World Record certificate for my shooting my own age, or lower, most times in a single day. I shot my age 7 times. I played 10 rounds that day. I was 70 years old. 5 of the 7 rounds were in the 60s and 2 were 70. So that's the world record of which I am the most proud. And I'm going to tell you, I am just a little miffed with Guinness World Records. I'll tell you why. When I did what I think is the hardest thing I've ever done in golf, despite all these records, and that is shooting my age left-handed and right-handed on the same day from the same tees. Now, I've done it 6 times, but when I talked to Guinness about it for a world record, they said, well, you already hold the record for the most time shooting your age. I said, but this is left-handed and right-handed. They said, that's only 2 times in one day. And we sit here and we argue. And I said, don't you realize that this is the most difficult thing I've ever done? Like I said, I played 500 consecutive holes, took 39 hours of just continual golf. I played 1,850 holes in a week. That's like playing 72 holes in one day and going out and playing another 200 that same day, doing it 7 days in a row. All of that, Guinness, don't you understand how difficult this is? And they go, well, we just don't see it as that significant, but you and I do, and we're going to learn from my transition to being a left-handed golfer as well as a right-handed golfer. I discovered 2 really important truths about how beginners, and even sometimes players who've played a while, a mistake that they seem to have in common, and that is, now if I'm right-handed, my right side wants to dominate, my upper body wants to dominate. Left-handed, my upper body wants to dominate. My upper body wants to dominate because we feel strong with the back side, the back of the swing. The other thing that happens is we don't realize that the lead hand, the back of the lead hand matches the face of the driver or the club, the back of the left hand. And if you can match those up, if you just make sure that the back of the lead hand is square with the ball, you're going to hit straight shots. How do you get rid of that first thing, though, that desire to throw the upper body? And believe me, I wrestled with it. Tried to do a little Sam Snead. Just keep the head as steady as possible. Now, Sam Snead, on his swing, kept the head right here and through the swing. We tend to move off the ball a little bit. But so what I do is I swing off the ball, but I keep my head right here through the swing, like this. That was a really good shot. I know my head probably moved forward a little bit, but by focusing on keeping it still and keeping it in place when you're at the top of your golf swing, when you get up in here, keep the head right here and then swing on through. So let's hit another good drive, left-handed, by the way. Trust me, you cannot hit a golf ball any better than that shot. Why do I do all this? The marathons, the world records, the YouTube channel. It's about the children. I have a children's charity, a 501c3. You can help. Help the Ironman, help the children. Go to the titles below and click more. Thank you. So I mentioned Lee Trevino, the Merry Mex, one of the greatest golfers of all time. He had the greatest 3 weeks ever. In 20 days, he won the United States Open, the Canadian Open, and the British Open. No one has ever done that before or since. Trevino, great. But we talked about his lesson, the back of the lead hand matching the face of the club itself. Let's listen to Lee Trevino share his insight.
And I've always had a saying, and is you can talk to a fade, but a hook won't listen, you see, and so there's no sense in hooking the ball because it's very inconsistent to hook the ball, and the reason for it is simply because the hands tend to pronate. People tend to be taught to pronate going back and then pronate going forward. And what they seem to forget is that always, anytime you grip a golf club, you will see the face of the club and the back of the left hand point in the same direction. In other words, so what do you have here is you have two golf clubs. You have a face there and you have a face here. I hit a golf ball with this golf club.
Back of your left hand.
Sure,
yeah.
Because what happens is wherever this left hand goes, that's what influences that. If this left hand turns here, the club face turns.
You don't hit anything except from an open stance. You don't close the stance to hook it.
You can't. If you close the stance, you see, if you go back to the beginning of the game, which was invented over 200 years ago in Scotland, and it's been in this country, in North America, about 100 years. And if you go back that far, and if you've ever read books that have been written by different professionals, actually the meat of the book, the inside of the book is basically the same, whether it was written in the teens, or the 20s, or the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. The only thing that's changed is the publisher's name and the pro that's on the cover. But when you open that book, they all teach exactly the same thing. They teach right foot back of the left. They teach taking the club back inside. They teach pronation. They teach releasing. They teach grip. This V going to the chin or the nose or the ear, and they got this one. Now you get people out at the driving range with the book, and they're going and they're looking at the book, and they're going here and they're going in, and it basically has nothing to do with it. You see, the most important thing about golf is the acceleration of the back of the left hand to the target, or parallel with a line with the target, because if this accelerates to the parallel line that you want to go to, then that club face has to go on that line. Now, the reason that I developed the open stance is simply because it taught me acceleration.
Yeah. Not only a great player, a great teacher. Learn your lesson from Lee Trevino. And may your game, as we say every episode, be absolutely amazing.